Hi friends, it's actually really late on Monday night, February 16th, the day that DeckofTBRathon starts, or started. I am almost done with Paper Cut by Rachel Taft, which is my in-person book club pick. We're doing this discussion tomorrow with the author. So I needed to finish this. I have like very little left to go. But I do want to draw for the mini DeckofTBRathon. I'm gonna shuffle the cards and draw them, and then probably only gonna draw 2 because I don't know how much I'm gonna read this week. So we're just gonna go right here, and we've got an ace. Oh, that's perfect because it's a free pick. So I know what I'm gonna pick for this. It's not right here, so I'll tell you about that. And then let's draw our second one. We'll do a quick shuffle. And let's pick. I'm not looking. This is an 8. So looking at my little sheet, it is a book in a series. So I can either start a series, continue a series, or complete a series. I'll have to look at that because I don't have a lot of series going. Actually, I did just think of one. So I'm going to go for 3 points there, which is continue a series. And I'll tell you about those tomorrow. I'll show you what books I'm going to read. But let's do one more pick because the series pick is actually pretty short. All right, so let's pick one more. Let's get all the way over here. So it's a 7, and a 7 is a poll. Title, author, or emoji. I'll do that on my community tab on my channel, and I'll post the results here. I can tell it's late because I'm having brain fog. So let me tell you about the 2 books, the free pick and the next in a series. Okay, so I picked an ace, so I'm going to do a free pick, which is A Guardian and a Thief by Michele. I'm reading this for the BookTube Prize, and I've already started it. So that's going to be my free pick, is one that I've already started. For the next in a series, I'm going to do Blanche Cleans Up by Barbara Neely. This is the second in the Blanche White series. It is a mystery kind of sleuth. The first one is Blanche on the Lam, which I really enjoyed. Yeah, and it's Black History Month. Barbara Neely was a Black author who I believe passed away in 2020, maybe. But I found this series and the author a couple years ago from BookTube, watching some videos. So it's really fun. It's kind of like sort of Agatha Christie-esque, but not as complicated. Or at least for me, it's not as complicated. So we'll do this one as well. And then I'll do a poll on my channel in the community tab for using emojis, and we'll see what's the third book I read. Bed, getting ready to go to sleep, and just wanted to update you on a few things. I am about, I don't know, 2/3 of the way through A Guardian and a Thief by Megha Majumdar. I can't tell you too much about this. I am reading it for the BookTube Prize, and I drew an ace, which is free choice, and that's why I'm reading this. I did a poll on my community post on YouTube, and we'll put right here. I did the emoji, and my emojis were a keyboard. That was because the buzzword challenge for this month is a book with a keyboard key or something in the title, I think, or on the cover. And I was going to read, or on my TBR, is The Biography of X by Catherine Lacey, which I still hope to get to, but did not win. And then the other emoji that didn't win was an apple, and that was for Flesh by David, I don't remember his name, but I'll put it right here. That is a book that I also need to read for the BookTube Prize, and it has an apple on the cover. So the one that did win was The Australian Flag, and that corresponded with the prompt for the Read Good Challenge by Ben Reads Good, which is to read from an Australian author. And so I'm going to be reading Body Friend by Catherine Braben. I did go to book club last night, so I haven't, today is Wednesday, and I haven't read as much because I went to book club last night, which was just a lot of fun, and I did not vlog any of it. I will put a picture after I'm done talking with you. We had read Paper Cut by Rachel Taff, which is her debut, and she was there at the book club, as was her mom and her dad and her sister and her husband. It was just a lot of fun, and had even greater appreciation for the novel after listening to her talk about the whole process. So that was fun as well. I'll talk more about that in my review of Paper Cut, which will come at the end of the month probably. Paper Cut is also a NetGalley book for me, so I need to write a NetGalley review. So the Mini DeckofTBR readathon goes until Sunday. However, I'm cutting myself off. No, well, okay. So I'm going to an event on Sunday. Little known fact about me, I love NASCAR. I just do. I don't know why, I just do. And they're racing in Atlanta this weekend, and I'm going on a little adventure with a group from the Georgia Racing Hall of Fame. But anyway, that is happening on Sunday. I won't do a ton of reading, although I do need to drive to Dawsonville, which is about an hour away, really early in the morning. So I don't know if I'm gonna be awake enough to be driving and also listen to an audiobook, but I may. I don't know. We'll see what happens. We'll see what I get read for the rest of this week. An 8, which is series, and I had chosen to continue a series and have pulled out Blanche Cleans Up by Barbara Neely. This the first book is Blanche on the Lam, which I really enjoyed. It was funny and also tackled some challenging themes. When I went to get the audiobook of this, I realized this is book 3. I have not read book 2. I think because I don't own book 2, threw me off a little bit. So book 2, made myself a little note, is Blanche Among the Talented 10th, which I have started and started on audio. It is basically Blanche is going to Maine for 10 days, 2 weeks, something like that, for a job. I'm pretty sure that's what it was. This will be a little life pet update as well. I've gone to a couple of animal shelters. For those who are new here, I ran a rescue in Atlanta for about 5 years and volunteered with many rescues since, I don't know, like my early 20s, probably. Actually, the first dog I ever rescued off the street, I think I was in 4th grade. And I made my mom find a foster, not take it to the shelter. Like, yeah, it was a thing. It started young. And I took a foster last weekend. It was sort of a trial adoption to see if the dog would work well with my cat. She's very sweet. Her name is Diamond, and she's about 30 pounds, so about the size of a beagle, which is what I'm used to. But she was a lot for Hopper and I, and didn't do great. She was kind of loud when I left her, so I have a shared wall with my landlord. So I ended up taking her back, and she's already been adopted. Adorable. And very sweet, very, very sweet. But I have not had a dog since I was in my 20s, which is about 20 years. I got my first dog when I was my first dog as an adult, I got when I was 22, 24, somewhere in there. Mainly because I was the first time living alone in Atlanta, and post-college I had a job. Didn't have a lot of social connections at the time. A lot of my friends, when they went off to college, ended up moving to different places. So my friends were long distance, and yeah, dogs have always been good for my pets in general, but dogs have always been really good for my mental health. And I got my first beagle, Charlie, from a rescue that I had started volunteering for, because they used to set up adoptions on Saturday outside in front of the Barnes & Noble. So on Saturdays, I would go hang out at Barnes & Noble, and there were animals out there. And yeah, it was really like my perfect world. There was a coffee shop, Barnes & Noble, and pets available for adoption. And I ended up volunteering for them, and had been dog sitting beagles for my boss at the time, and just really enjoyed beagles. Their big dog attitude and a little body. And the rescue that I was volunteering with on Saturdays to help them kind of handle the dogs, and they found a litter of beagle puppies in a shelter, and one of them ended up being Charlie, and the rest is history. I became kind of obsessed with the breed, and all of mine were rescues. I got involved with the beagle specific rescue in Georgia, and then ended up running it for 5 years, and then my mom got sick and I couldn't do all of that. Long story not short. But I had Charlie, just solo dog, for about 6 years, and then I got my second beagle, Bailey, and it just kind of went from there. If you've done animal rescue, you know it's kind of hard to not end up with a house full of animals. And at probably my most animals I ever had was probably when my mom had moved in with me, and she had a dog, a beagle. I had 4 dogs. I had 2 beagles, a chihuahua, and a foster dog that I ended up adopting, my Sophia. And then I had the 2 cats. And then we also ended up with foster dogs because I was running the rescue. And typically, if a dog was returned or a behavioral issue popped up, I ended up with that dog to foster them. So, just to explain how empty my house feels right now. Granted, I live in a much smaller place. I've always, since I would say since graduate school, I have rented houses. I have never been in a position, I work in social services, never been in a position to be able to buy a house, but I've always found rental houses that would allow me to have multiple animals. And just in you know, the last house I was in when we moved in, I had 3 dogs and 2 cats, and just over time, they passed away. I started to rescue seniors, which were kind of that's my, you know how we talk about in books, buzzwords? For me in rescue, buzzwords are senior and a hot mess, meaning either, typically for me, a hot mess is medical stuff going on that I found that my strongest skills were in fundraising for medical treatments and taking care of medically fragile dogs, and cats. I have taken care of a medically fragile cat as well. And my 2 cats had been with me through the last house that I moved into this apartment. My cat Emma died in 2023 of lymphoma. And then Remy, as y'all have seen and I documented on this channel, Remy, my beagle, my last beagle, he was fine one day and not fine the other day, which is sort of what happened with Mabel as well. But after Emma died, there was a plea from my local shelter, and I went and was gonna foster a dog, and then I ended up adopting Mabel, my non-beagle. And Remy then got sick in 24 and died about 6 weeks after he was diagnosed with lymphoma. And Mabel just decided she didn't like other dogs. She liked Remy. That was fine, but which most dogs liked Remy. He just had a great personality and knew dog language really well. He was a handful for sure, being a beagle with separation anxiety. But he was really good with animals. And so when he passed away, I didn't try to get another dog. So it was just Mabel and Hopper, my cat. And when we moved into this apartment, I didn't have a beagle, so I could do share walls. And it's 700 square feet. So a lot of animals in here would not be good. Mabel was a 50-pound dog, and her last illness was neurological, and I really struggled to help her walk physically, just because of her size. She's 50 pounds. It's just strange. I say all that to say it's strange not having a dog in the house. Hopper has been, obviously allowing time for grieving. He's been not himself. And when I brought Diamond, this little dog, into the house, I think I got her last Thursday, he was kind of standoffish at first, like a typical cat. He didn't run from her, but I'd already decided that she was not a good fit for us on Sunday. And y'all, Hopper was bouncing back, and he was acting more like himself, because he loves dogs. Not so much fond of other cats, but he loves dogs. And so he tried to befriend Diamond, and she was great, but she chased him, and he's 15, and yeah. She played kind of rough with him. So since I took her back, he's back to his mopey, sad little self. So I just said that whole story because I wanted to tell you yesterday I went to a shelter, and I went there because they had a beagle and a couple other dogs, little dogs. The shelters near me, like in Atlanta, they mostly end up with big dogs. They have a lot of animals. And one of my friends runs one of the shelters the shelter that I got Diamond from. Mabel came from that shelter. And little dogs there go very quickly. And just the nature of my work, I can't get there fast enough to even inquire about the little dogs. So I went out about an hour outside Atlanta to the shelter that had these, a couple of different dogs that I was interested in. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. I'm very open to adding a dog back to the house. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. I did read Paper Cut by Rachel Taff. And the book is about a woman who is like a survivor of a cult, and something that happened. We don't really know, like this, the author was saying, like the mother in this book is famous. She's a famous photographer, and the daughter is infamous for the situation that happened with the cult. And this is definitely dysfunctional family. There's not many characters, if any, in here that are likable. So I love Alice Feeney. We know that, right? This is an Alice Feeney-esque type story. And I really enjoyed it. This is a NetGalley book for me too. So look at me checking off boxes. And this is actually, I'm also going to count this for last month's cover challenge for Books and Lala, because it was to have like an internal body part or something internal body related on the cover, and it does have blood on the cover. But yeah, like I said, if you like Alice Feeney type unreliable narrator, Paper Cut could be a good read for you. This is her debut, Rachel Taff, and I'm looking forward to what she comes out with next. So it's been chaotic the last 2 weeks of February. I kind of put together the clips, and hopefully it will be an interesting vlog, just seeing what I've kind of gotten up to over the last 2 weeks. I didn't finish my reads for Mini DeckofTBRathon. I did finish A Guardian and a Thief by Megha Majumdar. This is one of the books that I'm reading for the BookTube Prize. I'm doing the first round fiction judging, and I can't tell you much about like my thoughts on it. But I will after this round is done. I also read Paper Cut by Rachel Taff and attended my in-person book club. Told you about it. Told you about this. Also went to the race, which you will have seen. And I got a few things. Hopper. So I did get some gear, some merchandise for some of the drivers. But my favorite shirt that I got is this one. And it says, "Easily distracted by fast cars." I don't drive fast on the highway. If you've ever driven in Atlanta, it's kind of chaotic. And I prefer to not drive on the highways. That's why I live very close to work. And yeah, but I thought that shirt was very cute. I also got some book mail. My pre-order of Kin by Tayari Jones came in. This is a chunker. So I'm excited to read this when I'm done reading the BookTube Prize books. So I'm in the middle, almost probably about 50% through The Land of Winter by Andrew Miller, which is a book I'm reading for the BookTube Prize. I'm also then going to start People Like Us. I started this, but I really need to read one at a time to really get my thoughts around them. And this is by Jason Mott. This is another BookTube Prize book. And then I'm also reading The Murder of Mr. Wickham by Claudia Gray. A little mystery. It's kind of fun so far. That's it. That's all for me. I hope you're doing well. And if you'd like to find out more about the BookTube Prize, I'll link the channel below. Come back when I read more of them, and consider subscribing. Hit the like button, and I hope you all are doing well, and I'll see you soon. Bye.